Hey everyone, welcome back. We're on our last week of May, dishing all the tea today with Rosina. We've had some really incredible women on this month talking about confrontation, innovation, disruption. And today we're going to dive into boldness, which is such a fun topic. And I'm so thankful to have Rosina here to talk about that with us today. She is an LCSW. She specializes in trauma therapy, over 17 years of experience. She's also branching off into coaching. That's where we met. We were in a coaching mastery program together, which was a year-long course, really awesome experience. She works specifically with neurodivergent women, and she, I can attest, is a very hilarious lady, very straightforward and to the point, but with a great sense of humor and some really wise and impactful things to share. So I'm so glad that she is here today. Thank you so much for joining us, Rosina, and welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, let's just get right into it. So, my first sort of question to open it up to you is, what does it mean for you personally to really embody this idea of being bold or boldness, whether that's through decisions, actions, words, etc. But like, how would you describe how you embody boldness?
I would say it includes all those things,
Okay.
that you mentioned. But I think for me, a lot of times, if I'm gonna think back where I had to be bold, it would be acting, taking some kind of action, even though I'm nervous about something or I'm
Mm,
passionate about something. Like you just have to. You feel
yeah,
that you're just compelled. You just have to be bold. Stick your foot out there. Stick your neck out. Do take some kind of action, even though on the inside you have maybe having second thoughts, doubts, something like that. That would probably be the best way I would describe it.
yeah, definitely. So this idea of we're so compelled by maybe the topic or our passion behind it or something that we just like have to act, even if we're acting and we're terrified, we don't really know what's on the other side, but that taking that actual step is maybe where
Yes,
that boldness lives.
yes, yeah,
Uh,
by acting despite, because it's the right thing. You know what? It's maybe it's for you. It's something you've always dreamt about, but you had doubts or things like
mm,
that, and you have
mhm.
to say, you know what? Sometimes you just got to do it. You just got
Yeah,
to do it because if you think about it too much, you talk yourself out of it.
right, right. And I think a theme that's really come up over the last month of conversations is listening to that internal voice. Um, Laura, I remember shared a few weeks back around, she talked about innovation, but how if she hadn't kept listening to that internal voice of like, this just isn't working, this needs to happen,
Mhm.
and then gotten her creative juices flowing to think outside the box, what she was doing wasn't wrong, but like nothing was going to change, right? And so I think there always is that element of having to be bold and taking that step of faith into the unknown. But generally, I think we find how rich and actually rewarding that is. Even if it kind of doesn't even come out how we thought or it's kind of a flop, there's still something about the process
Yeah.
that's still so worth it than just staying comfortable, right?
Yes, totally agree. Because sometimes you just got to tell that voice to shut up
Yes, like
and
get
just do
out of
it.
here. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're not helping me. It's kind of like if you've ever had to clean out some friends or people in your life, if they're not adding to your life, they're not making it better.
They
Why
gotta
are
go.
we listening? So that goes for the voice in our head. Just like, no, you're not helping. I know this is the right thing to do. I may be feeling awkward about it, but I know. And so
Right.
sometimes you got to go, not am sorry, act on that knowledge. You just got to.
Yeah, yeah. So that conflict of voices, right? The one that's nudging us and the one that's like, "Ugh," and we have to
Yeah.
sometimes tell the one that's trying to play it too safe that,
Yes.
this legitimately is not gonna hurt me, not gonna kill me.
Yes.
Like, I can do this. And how do we lean
Yeah.
into that? But it's hard. It's hard to trust ourselves sometimes. It's hard to know to even hear both. Someone it can be louder than the other often. We choose to ignore one over time. So I think being bold is a skill that people have to build and practice, that we've kind of lost that art the older we get,
Yes.
perhaps.
Yes. We got to get out of our heads sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Like, think of a little kid who doesn't know how to walk. They just get up and keep going. They
You do
fall, they
it.
keep like, right there, just, like, doing it. We are like, "Oh,
We
step a
do.
bit, I God forbid, like, danger, danger, like, scoot back." But if that kid
Right.
didn't keep trying, they would never walk, they would never grow the right
Exactly.
muscles, like, life wouldn't be
Exactly.
good. So, yeah, we lose that along the way. We get our brains develop too much. We know too much, but we don't know
We know
enough,
too.
and we, like,
Yeah.
use it to our disadvantage, I think.
I think that's it. We know too much. We have too much history. Oh, remember that time I did that and I fell, and remember I did that time and I looked stupid, and remember
Yeah,
that time. And so it's just like, so you didn't die,
right.
and you
Awesome.
learned something. So it's like getting back
Mhm,
to that innocence and
mhm.
that curiosity of saying, you're not, again, not being a smart aleck, but you're not going to die.
No,
Just
literally,
do
though.
it.
Yeah,
Just do
yeah,
it. And so,
yeah.
like you said, you're not going to get anywhere if you don't.
Right, right. Speaking of which, do you have like a personal experience or maybe one that of someone else you know that a moment when boldness really led to growth, whether that was like personally, professionally, all the above, that you can share?
Excuse me, I'd say all the above. I have one that's all the above.
Okay.
Since we went to school together, I moved to this where I'm at now,
Yeah.
just right as the pandemic hit. And the only person I knew here was my husband. That's it. And so after that, I opened up my practice of therapy, things like that, not knowing a soul. So that was bold, but it was something
Yeah.
that was needed for my family. And then trying to carve out, it forced me out of my comfort zone. I had to go make friends.
Mhm.
I had to go talk to people. And I met somebody that has a small business coalition here in the area. And
Okay.
all these entrepreneurs created this community of how can we help each other? How can we share resources and information? And a lot of them are restaurants and retail. So I was, oh, I'm not, I'm therapy, I'm not that coaching. But I was just like, do it. You need to know people. Business is a business, and
Yeah.
I really pushed myself, and being part of that community and making those connections was a personal growth and a professional growth because I got such
Wow.
a different experience, and I felt the best way I could describe it is like I felt like a real business person.
Mm.
When you're in private practice and it's just you, it's kind of like your job, your side job. I don't know how to explain it. It's not that you don't
No,
take it
I
serious.
I get what you're saying because 'cause I'm like people are like, "Oh, wow, you do so much." I'm like, "Do I? I don't know. I, like, sit on my
Right.
computer all day." Like, I know I do a lot. I run a whole company, but, like, it doesn't feel that
Exactly.
glamorous or, like, I don't know. To me, other things fit in a different box. I totally empathize because 'cause I'm
Yes.
like, "Wait, I don't know, do like, I just do some stuff all day and make some money and I carry on."
Right, but if you think about it,
I
it's
get
the
that.
business. You do
Yep.
payroll, you pay your taxes, you gotta
Yeah,
get
like,
supplies,
it's
you
not
got
nothing.
billing, you got
No.
marketing, you got stuff you gotta
Mhm.
do, and they do that, and so, yeah, it really got my brain out of, "Oh, it's just me," versus, "No, you are a real business person, you
Whole
gotta
real
make
ass
business
business.
decisions," and
Yeah.
so that was some personal and professional growth, I think.
Yeah. No, that's really cool, and I think, like, even just the different, examples, there was a lot of moments that you had to kind of embody that bold, uh, persona, right? Like, I too have moved many times and not known anyone where I moved to except for my partner or sometimes nobody, just me. So, I think that that is a huge bold step that not a lot of people have made in their lives, and I it's not for everyone, but it can be so incredible if you can take the leap and get through, like, the hard part, and
Yes.
then that boldness of saying, "I am actually a businesswoman, and I am a business owner, and I belong here too," and putting yourself out there because, like, look at these really cool relationships and probably opportunities and connections you would either taken way longer to grow or foster,
Yes.
or you just, like, wouldn't have if you had stayed so small and played it small, right? And just
Yes.
lived in this, like, lie that you're not important enough or we're not, like, a real company like other
Yeah.
companies, which no, we pay our taxes and get, like, all the same, obligations as other people,
Yes.
so we really have to let's at least play in the big leagues then if we're paying for it, so,
Exactly,
you know?
exactly. We want to grow our business. We want to expand.
Yeah,
We want to learn more. We want to become bigger. We want to have the 20-hour work week with the 60-hour pay, and and
exactly.
so yeah, and plus we want to help people. So yeah, beginning to own that real estate in that cognitive way is saying, yeah, I've earned my place in this. I can call myself a business owner without feeling like that imposter syndrome. Not that doesn't still happen sometimes, but
Of
just
course.
more of a but to be able to say, no, yeah, I can do that. And I think that built a lot of confidence for me, both professionally and personally, just that
Personally.
boost of, and like it's expanding into the coaching and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, no,
Mm,
this just makes logical sense. It makes sense in a business way. That's what, and so that's been fun, interesting ride.
yeah, yeah. And I think this topic comes up so often with a lot of the women I work with. Just it seems like a theme lately of sort of like coming out of post-pandemic, of a certain age, kind of like assessing things, and nothing's going poorly in any of these people's lives. They're really doing well, but it's like, but do I love this? Like, what am I is this fulfilling? Like, does this fit anymore? Is this really the grind? And it takes so much of that word to be bold
Yeah.
to even think about making that change, especially if your whole household depends on your salary and your health insurance, or
Yes.
it's just scary to imagine being of a certain age and starting over in a new industry, right? Like, but it doesn't mean it's not possible. And and again, neither choice is per se bad. Like, you keep doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
it's fine, you're paying your bills. But I'm always thinking of like, but what are you missing out by
Yes.
not just like checking in and like mixing it up, even if it's just like 1% to start.
Yes.
Because there's so many places I've lived or things I've done that I could have just kept doing it and I don't think I'd be unhappy.
Right.
But how much would I have missed out if I hadn't just said like, you know what, comfortable's for the birds. Like, let me just be
Yeah.
a little more discontent again and like mix it up and see what happens. And I think that's what encourages that like continued
Yes.
growth, right?
Yes. I
In a whole
agree.
different level way. Like,
Yes.
you're always kind of growing, but like the next level of growth.
Yes, yes, I agree with that. And if it, don't mind me adding one more thing
Hmm,
today, is that
bad.
being neurodivergent, that's probably another thing, is being by myself in this community, not knowing anybody. My brain bends different anyways. And so
Mm,
I really learned to accept that I need to make this fit me. I don't
yeah,
need to do it like everybody else does it. Well, this is how that therapist does it. This is how that coach does it. Here's the procedure 1 through 6. And that it's just like, no, that doesn't work for me. If anything, that was making it harder for me because it's like, why can't I do this? Everybody else is doing that. Why?
mhm,
This is the way to do it. When I finally learned to let go and just be like, that's again part of that, to me, the boldness of no, I'm going to carve
yeah,
my own way. I'm going to make this the way that fits me, and whatever way that is right
right.
and
100%.
okay. You know,
100%. No, and I
that's
think
helped.
that's so helpful to be reminded of, that there isn't a one size fits all for most
Yes,
things.
yes,
And instead of seeing your, uh, that neurodivergence as something to be ashamed of or something bad or like trying to make it fit in this other box,
yes,
you're like, actually, my box is like a circle. It's not a box.
yes,
And that's where I
yes,
need to live. And it's cool. We're all good, right? Like, we need lots of shapes.
yes,
Um, it's we're not all meant to fit in the same size thing, and it is less beautiful. And I think we lose the creativity and the offerings and the uniqueness when we try to cookie cutter everybody, and that
yes,
and that's not fun, and it makes it lose everyone misses out, right?
yes,
It's really harmful to the person, but like, we're missing out on something you have to offer because you're not able to potentially live in the space you need to live in to be able to really fully reach
mhm,
your potential and offer everything. So,
yes. I agree,
yeah,
and it made it so much less stressful when you end up embracing. Just like if you can beat yourself up for being short, and then trying to
there's
and
not
put
much you can
everything.
do about that. Yeah.
I'll tell my
Yeah.
clients, if you moved into your first home and you're only 5 foot tall, why would you put your dishes you use on a daily basis on the top shelf just because that's where everybody else does it?
Right. That's
You
just
set
not gonna
yourself up for failure.
work. Yeah.
That's
You're gonna be really
freaking
annoyed every day or
yes.
fall off
You'd
the
be
ladder at some point. Like,
hurt, pissed off, frustrated.
yeah.
And so when you just embrace it, look, I'm short, so I'm putting my plates down here, and this is what works for me. I'm happier. My day goes easier.
Yeah.
You know,
Who
it's
cares?
it's so simple. It's hard. Like you don't think
Exactly.
about it till you do it.
Because we know too much, we overcomplicate things all the time. So,
Yes.
yeah, be bold, put your dishes on the bottom shelf. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Like, it
do
can be
you,
that
do
simple.
you, yes, do
Yeah.
you, and it's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Oh, I love that. Um, so, but like we've mentioned, it still can feel really scary to
yes,
like take those leaps or to overcome that inner critic or like get past the self-doubt. So do you have any little steps or tools or tricks that maybe we could leave with the viewers of what can they do to try to overcome the fear or the shame or, whatever's holding
Yes.
them back, like what might be helpful in like pushing those aside to enter into that, bold step towards their goals.
I think the things that help me the most and that I continue to use is a lot of that self-talk. Instead of listening to that, either trying to confront that voice like, okay, look, that's old stuff and they're lying to you. So just,
Mm,
do it.
yeah.
And trying to take some of the emotions out, because there's one thing my husband said once, he said it 100 times. Anytime I had hard time billing for something, a no-show or whatever, he's like, it's not personal, it's business. It's not personal, it's business. And I wanted to be nice. And so it's like, you can't run a business and be nice like that.
Right.
And
Right.
so talking to yourself and being like, okay, this is what I need to do for the business. Put yourself in that mindset. This is what I do for the business, and building a community. Because I think when I first started going into it, there's this assumption that when you're a business owner, you know everything.
Mm,
Nobody taught me marketing in social work school. Nobody taught
okay.
me how to balance a book. Right, right. Nobody told me how to do QuickBooks or anything like that.
Right.
And so it's like, get people, make your community, make your tribe of other entrepreneurs. Everybody does something different. Share your resources, because they're going to support you. Even if the business is different, they still understand what it's like to be a sole owner of a
Yeah.
business. It
Yeah.
has its own stressors. So just having somebody to be like, oh yeah, I get you. It goes a long way to have that community. Build that community. Build your team of people, an attorney,
Mm,
a confidant, somebody does marketing,
mm-hmm.
just whatever. Have that community is very important.
Yep.
Home personal community is good because your friends and family support you, but it's just such a different thing being an entrepreneur. And
Yes.
so having people to understand that piece as well. I think those are the things
Yeah.
that has helped me the
Yeah.
most.
So really, it sounds like challenging that inner critic, whether that's just shutting it down or like, fighting back with other things, having like some other sort of mantra, and then finding a like-minded community
Yes.
specific around the goal that you're
Yes.
trying to reach. So you might have lots of communities, right? Like
Yes.
if you're going to run a marathon, then you might want a running community, people who
Yes.
like are training too, right? If you're going to build your business, you want an entrepreneurial marketing, whatever community. If it's about growing your family, maybe you want to talk to other
Yes.
moms or talk with your partner or whoever else. So I
Yes.
think that is a good reminder that while one community can be helpful, it still behooves us to look out
Yes.
for others that match the goals because no one really gets
Exactly.
it like someone else who gets it, right?
Yes. Get away from the cookie cutter thing. Back to the
Yeah.
short thing. Why would I join a club for somebody that's 6 foot and above?
No, I mean,
They're
they
not
wouldn't
going to
even.
understand
They'd
me.
be like, yeah,
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 they're not going to understand me. And I'm not going to understand them. And they say, why can't you just do it?
yeah,
And so it's
yeah,
always going to be a negative experience. But
right.
when people there share an experience, they're going to support you. Think about, I think anybody can say this in their life, even when they're younger, even now, maybe, that there's some naysayers in their life, that
Mm,
maybe give them that doubt. Are they really helping you? No, they're not helping you. So it's like, but boy, when you meet people that understand what you're trying to do to get you, they're going to be way more supportive.
100%.
And so building your own community, you're bringing people together that understand. They'll also confront you if need you. Hey, don't do that. That's stupid.
Yeah,
Or, hey, did you know this? Did you know about this resource? I knew,
yeah,
I know, and you didn't. And I just can't sing its praises enough. Having community, and then the
yeah,
more the merrier.
a
Because you just
hundred
don't know
percent.
what you don't know.
You don't.
You just
And I think that's part of that too, like being bold to ask the questions,
don't.
taking the input, processing it all to filter through what works for you. Um, I think at the root of this, it just goes back to trust and trust in ourselves that we do have all of the tools. We are capable of figuring it out. We don't have to do it alone. And I think the scarier thing is not doing anything rather than actually
Yes,
taking the step. So, yeah.
definitely more visible.
Yes.
Do it. Have the adventure. Just go.
Yes. Have the adventure. I love it.
Full.
Where can people connect with you? Where can they find you? Is there anything specific you want to let folks know about?
Well, let's see. I am on Facebook, both under Coaching with Rosina,
Okay.
and Rosina Therapy is how you look me up, because Life Milestones was already taken as a name on Facebook. And
Okay.
I'm also on Instagram under Coaching with Rosina and Life's Milestones.
Perfect.
Um, that's probably, I mean, Website for my coaching with Rosina still is there, but it's still under construction, so
Okay.
they can visit it, of course. And then I'm coming up with some packages of body doubling, things like that, where people that it's a nice way to get some stuff done where you work online together to
Hmm.
get caught up on tasks and things like that. And I also do a workshop for entrepreneurs self-care.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, well, I'll
Thank
make sure I have all the links in the email. Click on her picture. Some will be in the text to get to the sites that you can connect with Rosina and hear more about what she's doing, keep in touch and follow. Thank you so much for being here today. What a beautiful conversation. Go out there, be bold, and we'll see you guys next week.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.